So we were discussing about how the Narada approached the journey of the self-discovery. We all are the same since our birth. Since our birth, we have impulsive nature, we have instinctive nature. We cannot get out of it at the time of the birth. We continue to grow and evolve. You see that, when Mike asked me that who is a seeker and who is absent in the session. Anyhow, I will take up that also. We all are seekers. We all are seekers of permanent peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. What the Eastern wisdom guides us, it says that your direction is wrong. Your direction is not right. So listening and learning makes the direction right. It shows us the way how we should approach this permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom, which is what we say we are a seeker. So we are just deviating. It is good to have this question. Now, see one example. You have $1,000,000 and $1,000. So you have a choice for food. You don't have a choice to digest the food. The food is digested by its own. Food is digested by some intelligence that is working behind the body. And I'm a vegan, and vegan people are slim and thin. Oh, that's why the rhino, elephant, and hippos are overweight. We just take, the things lightly in our life. Have you seen that the hippo, elephant, and rhinos eat non-vegetarian food? They eat flesh. How come? So the same vegan is digested by that body with some intelligence present behind it, makes them overweight. We don't care that. What we care, no, I'm a vegan, I eat only, I don't even eat, what we say? Don't take even milk and baby products. I learned here in US, vegan is what? So Eastern wisdom points out that we are searching something behind. What intelligence is working behind? So if the mind contemplates and reflects, that is the meaning that we enter into spirituality. Otherwise, we can make a lot of claim in the world, lot of claim. I told you I think last year, I talked about dark chocolate. Research paper was a fake research paper was published to see the response of the dark chocolate. They published a fake research paper as a genuine research paper that the dark chocolate reduces the weight very fast in 3 months. It happened in Germany and it is published all over the world. And after 6 months, they wanted to know how people feel. So majority of the people says that the dark chocolate reduces the weight. And ultimately they expose that it is a fake research paper. So what we have to extract? We have to extract what is the message, how thought influences me and my life, and what is behind that thought. If I understand that, then I am a seeker. And I have to continue the journey until I reach to the ultimate. So forget about that. Drop that wrong notion that we are not a seeker. We all are seekers. Direction has to be right. Provided we know the ultimate purpose of life, who am I? What is the world? That needs to be very clear. Now see another way to understand that. Whatever I receive from the world outside, I have to give one day. I earn to spend. I receive to give. So if I say I love you, you say I hate you. There is no receiving, there is no giving. Forget about it. So that receiving and giving is attachment. This is what the masters are teaching. Now, can you tell me that anything that I want to receive, I need not to give? It is the real self. And that is what the spirituality is. The spirituality or awakening simply means I awaken to that existence, that presence in me. The more I give, the more I receive. You see how selfish I am? The more I give in order to receive more. And we are caught in the receiving and the giving game, and that creates a problem. In spite of rationalizing, we miss the main point. We are approaching to learning Gita, and there the master says, when we are seeking, I gave an example of hippo and elephant. Pay attention to that. So when I give the total responsibility on my action with the limited intellect, I become a wise fool. The spirituality simply means that I have to discover that existence on which everything depends is nothing but the spirituality. So now see what happens. We have to contemplate this week. I give you an example. So our Mike and Michelle, great friends. Again, I'm repeating. I told you that the elephant, hippo, and other also animals like buffaloes and wild, they eat pure. They are pure vegetarian. They are pure vegan. And normally, you have seen that they all are overweight. But my logic says if I eat vegan, I will become slim and thin. So I don't inquire. So when I don't inquire, I become a wise fool. This is what the Krishna says. So Eastern wisdom helps you to remove that ignorance. So now Mike and Michelle. So one day they both were sitting and they had nothing to do. They had nothing to do. So the Mike brought a box full of something. He said, "Let us play a game." So he asked Michelle that if you tell me what is in the box, if you can guess, I will give you all the golden rings. Hold on. You have to answer the second question also. If you answer correctly, how many rings are there in the box? I will give you all the 25 rings. Michelle said, "Can you give me a hint? What is in a box?" Did you understand? If you do not understand, it's okay. If you see, he's asking that if you tell me what is in a box, I will give you all the golden rings. He's already exposed it. What lies in a box? And the second question, if you tell me what is the number, I will give you all the 25 rings. And now the Michelle is asking, can you give me a hint? If you put this kind of a logic, you are going away from being a seeker. I have to inquire, I have to think. I made it very simple by this example, this story. I hear a lot of receive emails, and it becomes, I start laughing. So understand, this is the way we all are seekers. I have to change my direction when, where, all the time. The moment you wake up until you sleep, live with that understanding. Live with that, what we say, live with that intention. And you'll see, even in a week, it changes. So there are many ways. Every master has explained differently that who is the seeker of that real self? Who is the seeker of the awakening and realization? If I do not change the direction through my intellect, through my contemplation and reflection, nothing is going to happen. Then we normally ask which practice is good, which mantra is good, which mantra is good. Are you eligible for a mantra or not? That is more important than, than this. So now see the traditional way of explaining this by one master, the great master. He says there are three things which are rare indeed in the human. First is that a human birth. A human birth. Tiger doesn't think that this is a case and I will be put into the case. The moment the tiger thinks, then it is a fight between one intellect and the other intellect. No animal. So the human birth, he's pointing out that I have a human intellect. I must think. I should not leave. No, I'm going for a pleasure, but I have to think whether the pleasure is present in that object or not. I don't think. I simply go for it. That is not going to help. That will take me away from being a seeker. And once I use the intellect, I start thinking, contemplating, and reflecting in my life what is the ultimate cause. So, what that ultimate cause is the pure consciousness, is the real self, or you can say it is the God, or it is the spiritual consciousness. You can name anything. So, applying the intellect, contemplating and reflecting, and then I have a desire for freedom. That desire for freedom is nothing but changing the direction. And the third is you must meet a teacher who can show you the path because you don't know. We are totally unaware of it. There, the role of the teacher comes. So, this is one way to see how a human being become a seeker. Grace is the third. Now ask yourself that the same master explains beautifully, recognize human birth is hard to obtain. Hard to obtain. I don't have a choice. I am born as a human being. Human being has a free intellect. So free intellect has a free will. That free will means I can make a choice. I can make a choice to unending pleasure that does not make any sense, or I want to make a choice to discover permanent peace and happiness in my life. If I don't live with that idea and that thought, I can continue attending this session, nothing is going to happen. It will not work. So that pointer is that human birth is hard to attain. Then the master is hitting our mind. It is more difficult to attain the manhood. Manhood means that do I do the self inquiry? Do I sit every day at least for half an hour, And I say, what exactly is the ultimate goal of my life? Ultimate goal of my life. So the master says that once the mind becomes mature or the intellect takes over the mind, we start contemplating and reflecting that the ultimate goal is this. So when you have started contemplating and reflecting on, I can tell you that you are able to get away with a lot of anxiety, duality, conflict, challenges in your life, in your relationship, in your profession. No, I have done it, but it is not happening. Why it is not happening? Because somewhere in the mind is still seeking the pleasure from outside. It is still has a strong likes and dislikes. Mike and Michelle, they are the two characters. Mike asked me, "Oh, do you know what is dating apparatus?" My mind is there, and I'm seeking peace and happiness inside. I have to think. I don't think. So when I don't contemplate and think, I become, it's a easy going, okay, meditation, I will do the meditation. No, doesn't make you a seeker. So that is what is he's pointing. It is more difficult to attain the manhood. I have read all the books. I have studied. I have reflected, and still my mind is going there. It will not work. If you want an awakening, okay. If you want to relax a bit, the third stage of becoming a seeker, it says that sattvic attitude. I must have a sattva guna. What is sattva guna? That I become aware of all my actions is guided by the right knowledge. When there is a wrong knowledge, I will start running after the pleasure. Say you have done 6 weeks, 5 hours every day of meditation. And now your intellect has given you the wrong knowledge, going into the pleasure, all your 6 weeks have been destroyed. You cannot live into that state now. You are bound to be frustrated. You are bound to be anxious. There is no other way. Try this. You might have seen this. So after, you see the three attitude, the human birth, manhood, he says the sattvic attitude. And then it is, next thing is, it is very difficult to continue the journey, to continue to attend, to continue to listen and learn. It becomes very, I have been doing the same thing again and again for the last 50 years and expecting a different result. There I don't question why I'm doing the same thing again and again. And here I question, I've attended all your sessions, nothing is happening. I don't have a patience. So becoming a seeker is very difficult. It is a challenge. But on the other side, I said everyone is a seeker. Why everyone is a seeker? Because we all are seeking peace and happiness everywhere in the world. But the direction is wrong. No object, no person contain the property of peace and happiness in the world. This comes only by when your intellect thinks. When your intellect thinks, your mind will go away from the place. Otherwise, it will never happen. There is no proxy. There is no proxy in self-discovery. Let me remain lazy and you discover my real self and put me into the heart, and then I will be awake. Not possible. Not possible. So then what happens by constant listening and learning, many things becomes clear. The wrong notions are removed. and you start finding some changes in your life. When you start finding some changes in your life, then your intellect becomes aware of the discernment. What is the power of discernment? You are into anxiety, you apply the power of discernment, the next moment the anxiety is gone. I can promise it goes. Why? Anxiety is founded on the wrong notion. Depression is founded on the wrong notion. I'm not challenging modern psychology. Whatever they are doing, let them do it. That power of discernment, where it lies within you. You possess that. We don't use this. And that is why I use the intellectual paralysis. We live in intellectual fantasy. I'm doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. To break that cycle of ignorance, the power of discernment, power of discernment. And that power of discernment, by the power of discernment, we learn from our own experiences. I have done this. This has caused me anxiety and a conflict. Let me sit, contemplate, and reflect. What is the cause of it? And once you find the cause is because I changed the direction where it is not available, that is the cause of my anxiety and frustration. So, discernment, that power of discernment, does not come if we do not follow the previous steps. Now, the power of discernment comes. I started learning from my own experiences. I do not keep any wrong notion. I do not move into the wrong direction. During the entire day, you will find you are very happy and light and relaxed. You will get a some sign, some impact of that spiritual awakening, so-called the spiritual presence. Oh, this is it. And I corroborated with that example that whatever the actions that we are doing, it is not sure if it really brings the result until I follow the right knowledge. We all have a notion that if I continue to eat vegan, I will start eating vegan because I'm overweight. Look at the hippo, elephant, and the rhino. They all are overweight, eating the same vegan food. What do you say? So, what is more important? My intelligence. What is required? I don't rely on that intelligence. I rely on the intelligence coming from outside. And they are not connected with rightly the cause and effect relationship. And they are not searching the ultimate cause. Ultimate cause is the real self, ultimate cause is the consciousness, ultimate cause is looking at the presence inside your heart leads to an awakening. Otherwise, what happens? Master says, if you do not follow this path, then what happens? You may take thousands of births. Buddha says word is suffering. You will cycle of birth and the death continues until that awakening takes place in you. No way. I told you again, I'm repeating again, there is no proxy. Proxy means, oh, will this mantra help me? Yes, it will help you. We have to say it. Why we have to say it? Because to make you a seeker, to help you progress on the path of the seeker. That is the only purpose. We are not tired. We are not tired of explaining in variety of ways the same thing again and again to help your mind remove the impurities. And that's why we have hundreds and thousands of practices. This master says 100 millions of lives. If you live, if we live, including me, if we live like a wise fool, I give a couple of examples. We are not able to change the world mind. That is the indication. Buddha says the world is suffering. We continue with the life, a cycle of birth and the death. Because what I do today, I'm going to repeat the same thing tomorrow. So by doing the same thing, I limit myself. I create a bondage. Out of that bondage, I create a lot of things pertaining to anxiety, duality, and a conflict. And that shows that I'm not a seeker. I'm not a seeker. So we have to earn some merits through our intellect, through our contemplation, following the practices. That Mike is asking me, tell me something about becoming a seeker. Simple awareness is required. Now I have a conviction that the real self is present behind this body, mind, intellect, and ego, and the journey must continue every day without any obstacle. If I have an appointment, I leave the session. I stop the listening. I avoid the practice. Where I give the importance in my life. Who gives the importance? My intellect. So what the intellectual is seeking? Now it is going into the intellectual fantasy instead of self-inquiry. Becoming a seeker, I already explained. Listening and learning from a teacher. If you're listening and learning, it has brought you some sense of detachment. It is going to help you. You see the progress in your life. From the detachment, you move to the dispassion. So once you get a taste of that dispassion, your mind is already naturally steady. It is steady. It doesn't move around. It doesn't go anywhere. Where the mind was seeking the pleasure earlier, where it is not present, it is not going there. That means it is the steadiness of the mind. The ego is not coming in the way. And then we continue the journey. We move to the freedom. And how it happens, again, I'm repeating again and again. What happens? Because if you receive the knowledge, you reflect on it, and if you don't become a humility means there is a level of receptivity in your head. I have a choice all the time. Should I go to that direction? No. It is going to give me some pleasure and pain. It will create an addiction. It will create a habit. So I should move here. That is known as the humility. Humility is not when, said namaste, I'm very good, are you good? No, it should happen inside your head. It should help you to live into the higher level of awareness. If you don't live with that higher level of awareness, spirituality is nowhere. So the humility, then the receptivity, I have discussed it again, and that receptivity awakens you to the qualifications present already inside you. Then we start having a tremendous faith. Oh, now what happened? Now I am still calm. I'm not reacting. I'm not angry. I'm not into anxiety. If that happens, that is another state of the progress. You learn from your own experiences. That is another way to becoming a seeker. And then what happens? Last point, and then we will do it. I will take up the question of what our Barbara asked me about the fear of the death. So we will discuss in detail before we continue the journey because they are also important. So let us start our journey. Uh, Close your eyes. Now, see, you all are the seeker. Don't get upset, but hold on. Follow the journey with clarity and a conviction. Believe, I said, believe pending inquiry. You have to believe. That's why you are attending this session, but with an inquiry. And then what we have been understanding is that is it possible to bypass the or no being comfortable and being carefree? I think it is possible now. So your body is comfortable, you experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Eyes are closed gently. There is no, you are not squeezing, and the mind is receptive. Did I say that? You see, all the verses are written by the masters. You validate that. If you validate not only during this session, but all the sessions, all the time, by doing it yourself, it means you can move into being comfortable and being carefree, and we need not to spend time. So we have enough time to introduce something else. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. So we start directly with the mantra. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. So now my intellect should extract the wisdom, not like the story that I told you, that happiness is my essential nature. Even if I remember this, my mind will not take me to the anxiety reaction because it is my nature. How can I react? How can I act against my nature? If others are acting, because they don't know. So the same thing applies to me that I don't know. I have to I have to have the firm conviction. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Let there be peace for all. Peace. So you see that the language is as if I am blessing peace for all. But the fact is that I recognize in my intellect that the peace is the essential nature of the existence, and that existence is me. But why I have to do that? To purify the mind. Why I have to purify the mind? Because the mind is constantly seeking pleasure outside. It is yet to be tamed. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let there be completeness in all that. You experience completeness in you. That is also the meaning of awakening, wholeness, holiness. What prevents me? A sense of limitedness, insecurity, fear, dissatisfaction. And that is what the ignorance is. That is what, I just discussed. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Let there be auspiciousness for all. Our masters always say that we have superimposed our own ideas, notions, wrong notion, misconception that we are not the real self. Otherwise, that sense of auspiciousness is always there. If some person has said you something nasty, it is an opportunity for me to endure, withdraw my mind in the state of discernment and dispassion, so I'm not affected. When I'm not affected, let me give a befitting reply, provided I'm not affected. Did you understand? So I created an adverse circumstances as an opportunity. What is that opportunity? It is the endurance. I'm not affected. And now I will give you a befitting. So my reply comes out of the peace and happiness. I believe you all are getting. So now we will continue our journey. And we have been doing it, you know. We have been doing it. So pay attention. You are in the state of being comfortable and carefree. There is an experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness in the body. Now you look at the forehead outside, maybe in the skin awareness. Then you look inside. When you look inside, you are jumping into the space's awareness, and awareness is the space. Now, in that space, you pick a point in the space. How difficult it is? Yes, you have to do something very difficult, but very easy at the same time. Pick a point in the space, and there you drop Om Shanti with a meaning, with understanding that I'm the real self. So once you have done that, now we will. I've been explaining it. My friends, you understand that during the day of performing the action, we instantly become unconscious and carried away by the intellectual fantasy. So we are practicing here to know, let me put body into an action so that we can live into the same dispassion during the day also. So that is why I said start breathing quick and short breath through the rib cage. Continue quick and short breath. Quick and short breath through the nostrils. Om Shanti. Being comfortable and carefree in the state of steadiness of the body. You see that one awareness picks up all. That awareness is not picking up any other thought, moving me into the another direction is very important. Continue. You continue everything, not only the breathing part. You are aware of the Om Shanti. You are aware of being comfortable and carefree, and the steadiness is there. In those moments, you are breathing. That makes sense. Otherwise, you already know what happens. And stop this, do nothing. We understand that after, in that state of doing nothing, we recognize, we accept the changes taking place. We also realize if there is any resistance to the breathing, or how maybe many times we have forgotten to say Om Shanti, we lost being comfortable. So we are just aware of that. That very awareness helps a great deal. Start with the Om Shanti and start with the belly breathing. Take a longer breath. You're inhaling into the belly. You are aware of the expansion of the belly during inhalation. You are also aware of the squeezing of the belly during exhalation. And you are still comfortable and carefree. Because if you're not carefree, that Om Shanti will not continue. The mind, I know, will resist some time during the breath, and we endure. We take it, okay, let me do it, let me complete it. If that intellect doesn't support you, the fantasy will come. Very subtle, very easy. Continue, continue. You continue the journey, you recognize the resistance, you accept the resistance, but on the same side, you continue breathing, continue dropping Om Shanti. Awareness of the body, breath, mantra, space. And stop it. Once you stop breathing, allow the breath to be normal and become aware of the resistance that you faced or a smooth sailing that you faced. What happens? The mind goes very deep inside, and we find as if something different. We have to pick up those experiences. It may turn out to be a vision or colors, that's okay. And now looking again inside the forehead in the space at a point, dropping Om Shanti and start breathing long in the hissing breath, both from the belly and the chest. During inhalation, they expand, and during exhalation, they contract. My friends, continue. So it is your awareness and attention that refines the intellect. In turn, the intellect is aware of all the points of awareness. Continue. And now stop this, allow the breath to return to the normal, looking deep inside the cave of your heart, visualize the triangle. I trigger your mind by saying of any color. So you are able to see the color because there is a contrast in the background. And then moving the mind, dropping Om Shanti, clockwise and anti-clockwise. So what exactly we are seeking is a syncing, a sync of the movement of the mind on the side of a triangle, dropping Om Shanti, clockwise, anti-clockwise. We find a sync. The moment you find a sync, then we do just as if it is the reverse. You're singing Om to push the mind inside through the triangle, deep inside the cave of your heart. Mind seemingly stops. There you drop Shanti and just you are in a state of conscious self absorption. I'm using the word deliberately because you know It is self absorption, so that knower is different from the absorption of the mind. And there you got it. Are you doing something? I would say almost nothing. So, almost nothing means the mind that is working as a knower, as a subject and object drops, and still the real knower remains. That is what the conscious self absorption is. And if you find there are distractions, return to the triangle, go for a sinking of Om Shanti on each side of a triangle. Once you see the sinking is done, and move the mind inside, through the triangle, inside the heart, dropping Om Shanti. You said once you are absorbed, you are aware of that. That is okay. And now leave the step, go to Japa Om Shanti. I made it very clear. The mind's eye, mind's touch, mind's ear, and the mind's tongue are engaged on the 16 segments of the finger. The moment you say Om Shanti, not only you will feel the sensation as if you are touching it. It's not a big deal, but yes, it helps us to refine, progress into the meditation. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences plus any question if you have. How are you, David and Jerry?
Good morning, sir. Thank you. I found myself very deep, and I felt almost like in a deep sleep for part of my meditation. But what I consistently noticed through the whole meditation was an eye. And I don't know if it was my eye that I was
Yeah.
looking at, but it was constantly there with all the detail of the eyebrow and the wrinkles and everything. It was fascinating.
Yeah, that is how the intellect projects when our intention is clear. So it projects, oh, here is the eye. So it means here is a new level of awareness. That is beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. Meditation was really deep. The mind was, there weren't any objections from the mind about going anywhere other than just right with you and dark, nothing. It was really
Nothing.
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, there is a knower of the nothingness. We have to reach there. I experience nothingness, but there is a knower. And that is where we are heading to. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, thank you. Uh, During the lesson, I just kept constantly thinking and contemplating, reflecting, and the importance of the intellect, and started looking at things in a split situation. There's the intellect and there's the mind, and the mind is all where all the problems are, but it can only be a problem if we don't apply the intellect. And then it just became like this flow chart in my mind that said, okay, you experience anything throughout the day, and it goes, you have to go back to the principles of the listening, the learning, the contemplation, reflection, and discernment, dispassion. And without those basic principles, you allow the mind to go on its way. And basically we just need to feed the intellect, um, and, 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 and use the tools you've given us. And it just goes back to the listening and learning, those basic principles. And, and there was this settling when I accepted that it just allowed me to go right into the meditation. That was just, it was seamless. It was quiet. There was nothing. The only thing that stood out to me was when we went to the triangle and I completed a single rotation. I vividly see it on the outside of the triangle. And when I completed the three sides, the triangle started to glow in a bright white light, that the triangle disappeared, and I was just in this white light within the center of my heart. And then we were done. So thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. That white light and the triangle merges. That, in fact, it is a witness that a kind of self-absorption. Understand, again, what I'm summarizing that. First, that I should recognize that I have an intellect which is nothing but a free will and I have a choice. Now, the entire knowledge of the world outside, except the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom, gives a taste of the objective reality. So, in that free will, in that free choice, we need to listen and learn, and these principles should become my own. And the moment it becomes your own, you are the highest level of a seeker. This is what he narrated because he has repeated many a times that discernment and dispassion is required, and he is right in that. So that gives you the result. Right. How are you, Terry? Let me go to Terry first.
It was a good lesson for learning.
Okay.
I focused on finding. I contemplated on where is the heart.
Yeah.
Now, the lungs, the digestion, the brain, is it in the center? Is it where is because that's an issue for me.
No. Do not speak too much. I could see that. I will answer that. When we say heart, in Eastern wisdom, that heart is the seat of consciousness. We have nothing to do with the physical heart. So
Center.
just, you start looking inside at the center of your rib cage into the space that is your heart.
Okay.
So our heart is not a pumping station of the blood.
Mm-hmm. Is it the American?
It is a pumping station which flushes out the impurities of the mind.
Okay. Does it have anything to do with?
No, not at all.
Uh-huh.
How are you, Kristen?
Thank you. I was found my mind very distracted, and I think I fell asleep at one point. And I noticed some judging arising, and then I went back to the principles you were teaching, and found the ability to be able to be absorbed back in today.
Yeah. See, again, another way to learn from your experience. Can I become aware of the distraction first? All these distraction belongs to the material world, seeking pleasure or avoiding pain or seeking security. There is nothing else. So when I recognize this, my mind becomes empty. If I don't recognize, my mind continues to struggle. That is the way. How are you, Dennis?
I'm good, thank you. During the practice, I was experiencing space calmness and darkness, and what I noticed that I was sometimes balancing between sleep and waking state. It was definitely not a sleep because I was aware of your voice, and every step that I was doing I was also aware of, but still there was some change that I think is closer to be described as a sleeping state, yet it was not a sleeping state, something like that.
Yes. Science has figured out. They talk about the sleep wakefulness. They use that word. So we will understand. But that is a transition point. So some people are able to recognize that sense of the sleep wakefulness. Other people simply transcend. And that is a good. I will discuss in detail about that in the future. How are you, Sam? Where is Sam? Yeah, here is Sam.
Hi. No, appreciated the lesson as always. Constantly trying to apply the lessons in daily life to different situations.
Good.
Yeah, practice was the breathing kind of got to me a little bit today. It was a little harder, but tried to push through it.
Very good. We did 4 minutes of first two types of breathing and 3 minutes of the third breathing. So obviously, if you find some challenges, if you continue to do it, definitely it is going to work. No, I didn't mean, when I say you have to find out the right knowledge. When I gave an example of the hippo and the elephant, they are purely vegan and they are normally overweight, and they are very active. They can drive away even the tigers. What is very important, I lost, Jerry has said, I lost further 10 pounds. I have left all my Indian food, and I'm just on the vegetable and fruits during the lunch and also in the dinner. Only except if I invite someone, I take it. Only one thing, that pleasure-seeking mind should not crave for the food that I have been habitually taking. That will help. For that, you need a mind. For that, you need an intellect. For that, you need a clarity in your head. If that is not there, then the same thing. Then we become overweight even after eating whatever. How are you, Barbara?
And usually when I meditate, I don't have any visions. But today I had a vision of a seedling that kept growing. And I don't know if there was any significance in that. And after that, everything seemed very, very bright.
Very bright. You see that the mind, when you have a new vision, the mind is naturally absorbed into that. It continues to follow that. So there is a role of the vision in these colors. And once our mind is naturally steady, even we have vision or we do not have vision, it absorbs deeply and it transcends itself. So that is also a good point to mention. How are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. The mind is calm, easy, relaxed.
Very good. Wonderful. That should be there. And how are you, Sangeeta? Sangeeta is there, yes.
सर ऐसे लग रहा था जैसे मंत्र जाप से अंदर प्योरिटी आ रही है और क्लींजिंग हो रही
Good. हाँ क्या बोले?
है मंत्र जब जाप करते हैं तो प्योरिटी आ रही है और क्लींजिंग हो रही है अंदर से
Changing her. Yeah, she was feeling when she was reciting the mantra Om Shanti, and she was feeling as if the mind is becoming purer and pure. It is purifying aspect of the mind. So please, we have discussed briefly about how to become a seeker. We are already a seeker. That is the first thing, because I am seeking permanent peace, happiness, love, and wisdom. That is what. And these are the characteristics of the real self. So it means if I recognize the real self, that is what the awakening is. So where I'm living, at present I'm living with the false side. So I have to examine, I have to analyze very deeply in my intellect that whether I'm carried away by the false side or the real life, and followed by the practice. Plus the contemplation reflection helps us to reach there. So thank you very much for joining this session. We will meet again
Thank you,
next
sir. Thank you
week.
so much.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I think I've covered everyone here. I've covered everyone. हाँ जी क्या हाल है?
हाँ जी सर अच्छा है सर आप कैसे